In this video, we'll be using dimensional analysis to convert between units. Let's go over some background knowledge that'll be helpful. The first thing that you need to remember is how to simplify fractions. Here, when we have 4/5 times 1/4, I can cancel the 4's and end up with 1/5. In the second example, I could think of the 16 as 4 times 4, and again, I can cancel. In the third example, I want to point out that we don't always have to be in the upper left, lower right position. We can cancel the 3's even though they're far apart. The second piece of background knowledge to remember is the identity property of multiplication. Recall that if I take a number and multiply it by 1, it doesn't change the value of that number. So if I take 3/4 and multiply that by 1, I still have 3/4. If I change my 1 to be 2/2, which also has the value of 1, I still have 3/4. I haven't changed the value of the original number. Note the key thing here is that the numerator equals the denominator. Okay, let's go ahead and do some dimensional analysis. In our first example, I want to convert 4 feet to inches. I know that 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. This will be our conversion factor, and I can write it either as 1 foot for every 12 inches, or I can write this as 12 inches for every 1 foot. So I'll start here with my given piece of information, 4 feet. Some people find it helpful to put that over 1 so it looks like a fraction. And then I'm going to multiply, but I don't want to change the value of 4 feet. I want my answer to be equivalent to 4 feet, so whatever I put in the numerator has to have the same value as the denominator, and I'm going to choose either 1 foot for every 12 inches or 12 inches for every 1 feet. And the way that I'm going to pick which one to use is I want my units, feet, to cancel out. So I want to be able to cancel feet just like I did with the fractions. So I need to pick feet in the denominator. Now that I've canceled my feet out, all I have left are inches. 4 times 12 is 48, and the only units I have left are inches. Let's go to another example. So now I have 54 inches and I want to convert to yards. So again, I know that 1 foot is 12 inches. And I also know the relationship between feet and yards. 3 feet is the same as 1 yard. So I can write this either as 3 feet for every 1 yard, or I can write this as 1 yard for every 3 feet. So this is going to be a 2-step conversion. We can do as many steps as we want, but rather than writing out first converting inches to feet and then converting feet to yards, let's do this all in one calculation. So I'll start with my given, 54 inches. And then I know that I need to write something that has the same value in the numerator as the denominator, and I want to have inches in the denominator because I want my inches to cancel out. So I come up here where I convert between inches and feet, and I choose inches in the denominator. This is different from our previous example. In the previous example, we chose feet in the denominator. It's all about getting our units to cancel. If I had put inches in the numerator, I would have ended up with inches times inches, which is inches squared. Okay, so now my next step, I can just keep going until I get to the desired units. So now I have feet in the numerator, so I want feet in the denominator. I want to cancel here. So when I come up to my conversion factor between yards and feet, I'm going to choose the one that has feet in the denominator. and I can cancel out the feet. In the end, I'm left with just yards as my units. So I know that I'm done because I've gotten to the desired units, and I can perform my calculation. So let's talk about that for just a moment. So there's different ways to think about this. I could calculate all of the numerators straight across, 54 times 1 times 1, 1 times 12 times 3, and get an answer there. Some people, when they're using their calculator, will step through. We could do 54 divided by 1, because it's on the bottom, times 1 on the top, divided by 12 on the bottom, times 1 on the top, divided by 3 on the bottom. So we're always multiplying by whatever numbers in the numerator and dividing by whatever numbers in the denominator. Of course, we know that we don't have to really concern ourselves with the ones, because the ones won't change the value. So I could think of this as 54, that's the number on the non-1 number on top, divided by 12 times 3, all in the denominator. Or here I could think about 54 on my calculator divided by 12 divided by 3 right there. So 54 inches is 1.5 yards. Our next example is in metric. So most books have tables of values, but they aren't always presented in exactly the same way when they talk about metric and prefixes. So let's do this in two different ways. You might know that there are 100 centimeters in 1 meter. So we'll either use 100 centimeters over 1 meter or 1 meter over 100 centimeters. We start with 42 centimeters. This time I'm not going to put the 1 on the bottom. You can put it in or not, it doesn't matter. I know that I need centimeters to cancel with centimeters down here. So I pick the conversion factor with centimeters in the denominator. I cancel my centimeters, and I'm left with 0.42 meters, or 42 hundredths of a meter. If your book instead just listed centi as 1 over 100, then we can think about a centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. So just the centi was 1 over 100, and I kept the meter, so 1 centimeter is 1/100th of a meter. Then our dimensional analysis, 42 centimeters times, I still want centimeters in the denominator, but now I have 1 centimeter and 1/100th of a meter in the numerator. I end up with the same thing. I end up with 42 hundredths of a meter.